personnel. And so there are different ways that people enter the military. They can enlist or they can be commissioned as an officer by the president, and I was a commissioned officer. And so your job is to do more of the leadership and more technical specializations. And then really you're operating and commanding, whether it's aircraft, ships, armored vehicles. Nothing that I did in the military. I just commanded bulldozers and other troops. But then there's a lot of other specialties. So medical, legal, engineering, other services. The military is really just like a large organization, like a large city, and requires all the same services. Your starting pay as a officer in today's dollars, about $43,812. And so that's an annual pay. There's other things that you can get in there as well, especially if you fly, other things. But after 4 years, you're making about just over $74,000 as a captain with 4 years of service. And you start off as a second lieutenant. Hiring outlook is average, and really to be an officer, you need a college degree. Now, the other thing that I was a mechanical engineer in the military. And that's another area to talk about in case you're not interested in the military. But as an engineer, on the mechanical side, you're really designing, developing, building, testing, and manufacturing mechanical components and materials. And so it's a really wide-ranging field. There's all kinds of different industries that require mechanical engineering, whether it's designing the aircraft, yes, air conditioning systems, heating systems, heat transfer, automobiles, etc. Starting pay out of college is just over $90,000. The hiring outlook is average. And what you need is an engineering degree. And they have mechanical, civil engineering, all these different types of engineers. And you're working more in this technical field. So, the organization that I belong to, well, it was the United States Air Force, and that's where I did my Reserve Officer Training Corps, which is just a way of being on scholarship to enter the military, and they paid for most of my college education at the bachelor's level. And so the mission of the Air Force is to fly, fight, and win in airspace and cyberspace, and there's multiple career fields. It's not just about being pilots, but they really need every single thing that you could think of, computers, communications, people who actually lead the folks who work on aircraft, fixing the aircraft, developing new aircraft, developing new engines. And then I was an engineering officer, and my job, the mission of my teams were really, I was leading engineering teams that design, build, sustain, and restore facilities from which combat power is projected. So Air Force installations around the world, airplanes need to land places. And so that was my job, was to take care of not only like the runways, all this stuff, but all the other things that the troops needed, whether it was mess halls, tents to sleep in, air conditioning, power, maintaining sanitation, things like that. And the path to that is, again, you could go through service academies, the Air Force Academy, the Military Academy at West Point, or I went through ROTC, which you're a college student. Yeah, you wear a uniform a couple days a week. You train to be a leader, and in exchange, then the Air Force helps provide funding for your college. Or if you already get a college degree later, then you could do a direct commission and and go directly into the military if you'd like. So, what were some of the things that I did? Well, some pictures here. This is me coming out of ROTC when I was commissioned then as a second lieutenant, one of my first deployments. And so what I would do is I would lead engineering teams around the U.S., the world, etc. And part of it is you have multiple duties. There's mostly peacetime duties, but then there are combat duties as well that you have to be prepared for. My job as an engineering officer was not only to be prepared to fight, but then also to do a lot of the technical work on designing facilities. And so I designed a lot of different facilities, oversaw their construction, but then from a wartime mission, it would flip into, well, how would you repair a facility, especially if it's been damaged, like this example, which is a aircraft hangar in Kuwait that was bombed actually by the Allied forces that were there, and we had to safe it and make sure it wouldn't crumble anymore. more, just in case anybody would go into it, but it wasn't a facility that we're using. But then also I helped build these facilities here, which was out in the middle of the desert, right next to a runway, and it supported 5,000 people who operated from Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait. So we were providing all the water, the power, fire protection services, etc. And so my career field is what we called civil engineering. And so we would do all aspects of building and maintaining a city. But that also went into humanitarian and peacetime missions that I've deployed all over the place in Central America, where we would be putting in clean water, sanitation, building roads, building schools, etc. So your job in the military is not just only about wartime preparations, but working to enhance America's image around the world and helping others both domestically and foreign. So that was one career field I did, and it was is immensely rewarding. So what are the reasons why somebody would want to get in this? Well, strong desire for service, especially your country. What do you need? Well, you need a college degree and that desire to serve, and then be willing to go where your country needs you to go and lead others. And what it gives you is a strong sense of you know, leadership, and that's something that companies really value, is the leadership skills that you learn as an officer. It gave me a lot of technical skills and knowledge, and also the ability to know I can operate in all kinds of different trains and be exposed to all kinds of different cultures, and realize I was there as an American ambassador as well. So I found it a really rewarding career and did that for a number of years, but I decided to switch out, and actually this goes into my second career, which was then as a marketing and business management professional. And so after leaving the military, I decided to go into a non-technical route. And this is really, it was to develop, align, execute, and measure annual business and communication plans and multi-year strategies to deliver business objectives. What you're really doing is you're running businesses, and marketing is really just another way of looking at how do you understand the markets that your business operate within, and then how do you position your business to achieve your business goals that are given to you and agreed to? And so you, again, these types of opportunities in marketing and business management are in a wide range of activities and industries across the United States. The pay, especially for some of the larger companies are about 141,000 annually. Some of these will require an MBA or master's degree to get to this level. And so that would require getting a advertising, marketing, business, communication degree, or even like in my case, because I had an engineering background, that they value the skill sets that people who are good in math and sciences, etc., bring to jobs like this. And I had a master's degree, but mine was a technical master's in engineering management, but still qualified me. And I was able to come in and work in this type of business. The hiring outlook actually for marketing business management is above average. So they're looking for more and more of these types of people. And what kind of person would be attracted to this? Someone who wants to go in and start to learn to understand how to run a business, and really working with customers and driving delivery of products, etc. And so I found this a really rewarding activity. Some of the experiences that I had in this were working for some large companies. I started off at a company called Procter and Gamble. They're one of the largest, what they call consumer goods companies. If you look at all the brands that are on the P&G website and the types of products that they have, probably many of these might be in your household, whether it was Charmin bath tissues or Duracell batteries, Dawn dishwashing liquid, Bounce, Tide, a number of these different things, Olay. I happened to work on food and beverage products. At that time, Procter & Gamble had them. And the brands I worked on, I started off in coffee, working on Folgers and Millstone coffee. Then I worked on Sunny Delight, and that might be a product that you have experienced. And juice drinks. And then I finished off working on Iams Pet Food, working on international businesses, supporting Europe and Asia, coming up with new products products. I left Procter & Gamble and I went to ConAgra Brands because I really wanted to stay within food, and Procter & Gamble is exiting all their food businesses. And so there I worked on Healthy Choice frozen foods, kid cuisine, frozen foods again, Hunt's tomatoes, Rosarita beans, etc., a wide range of different food goods. And so really enjoyed them. So now what do you do in this world of marketing and business management? Well, you are running a business and you're really focusing in on how do you drive your business. And those go from things such as advertising. So I would create commercials, shoot the commercials, make sure that they met the business goals and objectives. So I did a number of those for a number of different brands, including Sunny Delight, that you work on new products. And so this product here on Sunny D is something that I launched. It was designed to be a larger offering for tweens. Before that, they had a small bottle and a really big bottle. And so there was a market for something in between for 12 to 14-year-olds who enjoyed the taste of Sunny Delight. So I developed that bottle, brought it out into the marketplace, and it's, I think today, when I check with someone who still works there, it's about, a $400-500 million business. And so it's still sustaining, and it's great to see in the marketplace. Other things that you do are you do a lot of promotional activities, and those promotions include doing things. This is one initiative I've led, working with the Bravo TV channel and the Top Chef program, which is popular a number of years ago, where actually I sponsored parts of the show, and in return I came out with a line of frozen meals that were sponsored by Top Chef and had all kinds of really interesting ingredients, etc. And that was a really fun activity. One of my brand managers at the time who worked for me was actually then on the show for parts of the competition, because they had a competition with these chefs to see who would be the Healthy Choice top chef, and they're the ones who created some new meals and recipes. And then other things like all the promotions, the sales, other things that you see, those are all run through kind of this area that would be in with business leadership and management, because what you're really trying to do is you're trying to figure out how do you hit your financial plan and targets. Everyone wants to grow their business, and all these ways are just different ways of investing to help grow the business. And that was one of the key responsibilities within this business management, business leadership. Within many parts of companies, this business leadership and business management is the track going towards CEO. So if you've ever wanted to run a company, this is one of the ways to get there. So for me, some of the things that you might ask some questions, well, how hard is it to get some of these jobs, being a military officer, an engineer, or a business leader? It's not what I would say incredibly hard, but for most of them, you need to do well in school, both in high school and college. So you need to be a decent student. But the biggest thing is be a lifelong learner and want to continuously learn and apply what you learn to make things better. Education, I kind of covered that off. That, again, for most of these areas, you need a bachelor's degree. In some of these areas, if you want to go for the higher level type of pay and opportunities, you definitely need a master's degree. Some of the interests that I had, as I talked about at the very start, was this idea of curiosity and making things better. And that actually was a big help to be an engineer and to be in business. And the advice, that I would give to somebody who's interested in being in the military, is that it's more than just about you. It's thinking about how do you serve others and how do you lead and motivate others despite all kinds of challenging conditions. As an engineer, it's about how do you use your technical skills and knowledge, again, to help make things better, to make products safer, to make products that fit the needs of consumers, and to help generate, and deliver new business ideas. In the world of business leadership, it's taking in how do you motivate a large organization to align them to your strategies and your tactics, and then work ceaselessly on the execution to make it as best as possible, and to work with the customers and consumers out there on what aren't they getting that they'd be willing to pay for, or something better than the alternatives that they have today, and come out with ways of understanding how to communicate that and deliver it, whether it's through kind of old-fashioned television advertising, but whether going into web, online advertising, online media, all kinds of different ways of bringing these messages out. And you have probably received many of those as consumers. So it was a great career, but it also opened the door to allow me to become a teacher, and that's what I'm doing now, and I just love that, and it's the best job I've had. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.